Alina, you're the first one. You're up, sitting up in the front, you guys. Did you bring me an apple? Hi, Elaine. Good to see you here. Got your pens and paper ready? You're all polished up. Hey, good to see you all come in. I spent the last couple days, actually a week, preparing for this so I would do things in order so I didn't confuse you completely. I'm going to try and do this as smoothly as I can. I was racking my brains on all the stuff I've learned through the years and writing it down. And see, I got tons. So glad you're here. That's great. We'll just wait a couple minutes for everyone to get in here. Agree, Vicki. Drawing is beautiful on its own without any other medium. I enjoy it. I really do. Of course, as you guys all know, my subject matter is people, faces, mostly, and figure drawing, but I haven't done a lot of figure drawing. I'm glad you're all here. This is probably going to be, depending on how far we get ahead here, a couple days, maybe 3 days, and it'll be just the basics of what you need to do, or the basics, fundamentals of what you can use when drawing, painting, really doing anything in art. Is eventually it's going to involve drawing of some kind. Hi, Ange. Good to see you. So once you get and once you get this down, it's a matter of practice. And what I'm going to say is that I really don't want you guys to beat yourself up if things don't go smoothly for you the first few times. Don't get discouraged. That's a learning process. You learn by what you do. And each time you do a drawing, you get better at it. You see things differently. Hi, Michelle. So, I guess what I want to say is that inner critic of yours that's inside, don't talk to yourself in a bad way or a critical way. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a child. Would you be saying, oh, that's a piece of you know what? You would never say that to a child. Don't say it to you. Consider that your inner creative self is a child in the beginning of drawing, and you gotta develop it and learn it and practice it. Eileen. It's all right to laugh. Positive is good. As long as you're not being nasty to yourself and then just, throwing your book on the wall and say, I give up. No, you don't give up. I'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get going. So I hope everyone's had a good week so far. And also, this is the drawing process. There's many different types of drawing. You can get into sketching, which sometimes it's more relaxed way. Hi, Janet. You're late. You got your late slip? Kidding. So there's many different types of drawing. There's this is more detailed drawing, more realistic. It's not quite hyper. You can get even more detailed than this. But is this showing good for you guys? I want to make sure it's not backwards or anything for you. Let me know. Yeah, sure. And then there's also more of the illustrative. And this is a vignette of things. And this is a great way of practicing. Go in your house, collect a bunch of different things, put them together, and then draw it. If you can draw from live things instead of a photograph, it's a different way of drawing, and you should try and learn that too. It's a different way of viewing, and we're going to be talking about that. So it depends, you can get into the hyperrealism, you can get into illustrative drawing, you can get into just doing this type of thing, sketching, or it can involve painting and canvas work. And what you're going to learn isn't just putting a mark on your paper, it's how to see. All right. I'm going to get my notes here so I can remember to go according to my notes I took. And also practice. Everybody can draw. I keep hearing people say, "Oh, I'm not talented." It's not really talent; it's a skill. Like not everyone can play an instrument. Not everyone can sing. But if you learn, then you can do it. You can learn how to draw. Now, there's you may not become a masterful drawer, but you will learn to draw. And it all depends on how much practice you put into it. Also, Kathy, do we need any supplies to follow you along with you, or are we? If you want to follow along, Danny, you can get a piece of paper and just a basic pencil, 2HB pencil is fine. For beginners, I would suggest not a mechanical pencil, just a regular pencil. That's all you need. So it all comes down to Drawing is basically viewing and putting down marks. About 70% of the work is viewing, studying what you are drawing. So the problem with most of us when we start to draw, we'll say put an apple or say this cup here. In our brain, our left side brain, it has a generic cup in its memory. So when you're drawing that generic object that is a cup, you tend to want to go towards drawing that. So what we need to do is trick your brain into going to the right, which is the more artistic side, and seeing actually what that cup looks like. So what we're going to concentrate on first is seeing with artistic eyes what we really see. Now, we're not going to focus on the detail. So the detail would be, say, this here. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on shapes. And when you're studying whatever it is, it could be a figure, it could be dog, whatever, you have to look at it in a way of shapes. This way your brain isn't saying, oh, that's an ear, that's a tail, because your brain has a generic shape for that. That isn't correct for what you're actually drawing. So far, do you get where I'm going? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the shapes that we're going to want to paper here, you understand? And if you can get yourself in the habit of thinking in this way, it'll make things much easier. So I'm going to get my pencil out. I have one in here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Just this is a HB Stedler. Okay, so when drawing, you're starting out to draw something. Okay, let's say, okay, let's keep this here. Backwards. So let's say we're going to draw this here. In our first attempts, we don't want to draw defined lines, and we want to draw a very light touch because it's just to get the shape down first. So when you're drawing, a lot of people have a tendency to put their fingers like this in what I call a tripod position. And when you do this, you tend to use the point of your pencil. If you can, use the overhand way. And this way, you won't use the tip, which tends to be harder looking. You'll use a little bit of the side. And so what I'd like you guys to first do, and I know you're going to, Eileen, you're going to hate me. I want you to draw circles. And I know this sounds silly. I know how to draw a circle. But most people go like this. They got their pencil like this, and they slowly draw a circle. And a lot of times that circle isn't a circle. So, so what I want you to do is the overhand, and don't put your wrist on the ground because you can't draw a circle with your wrist on the paper. Try and use your whole arm. So, and then go like this, lightly. Draw circles. Most artists will draw a whole bunch of lines when they're trying to get the basic shapes. Then when they see the actual circle, they'll use that. So say that was a bird's head. So then they would add the beak. And if it's light enough, like this here, this one's too dark. So if this one, they could add the beak. So they're just adding their shapes now. And then you can do ovals. So I'm doing it a lot harder than what you guys should do. And then there's rectangles. It's just, it looks like a child's bird, basically. But that's how we start to see the actual shape that we're trying to draw. So get used to drawing very, very lightly. If you can draw light and use your whole arm, you get comfortable with the pencil. I know it sounds juvenile, but it works. And it's a good way to get ready when you're doing a bunch of drawing. It's an exercise. Then do ovals. And don't do them slow. Do them fast. Not too fast, because then you can't control. So I want you to fill a whole page full of circles and ovals, and try to go in different directions with the ovals. You know, a lot of people don't realize how some people, it's very difficult to make a circle. But if you do it lightly and keep practicing, do them different sizes, you'll eventually get it. Circles are one of the main shapes that we apply to when we're viewing the subject that we're trying to draw. A lot of circles and a lot of ovals. That's why we need to get comfortable, I guess you could say. Yeah, circles and ovals. If you can, and lightly, try to go lightly. And if you can't do the overhand, then go on the very end of your pencil, because that way you'll draw lightly. See, doesn't matter how you're, if it's a perfect circle, don't worry about it. If you look at any of the masters' drawings, Leonardo, Rubin, any of those, at their notebooks or their sketchbooks, you'll see many, many lines in their drawings. And that was the way they got the shape down proper. Now there's more to this, and we'll get to that. So after you've done circles, and you can you don't have to do this right now, but if you want to write down what you have to do, this is part of your homework. Then there is line. So I want you to draw a bunch of lines. Now, if you have your hand on the table, you'll tend to arc your lines. That's why you need to use your whole arm. And this way, you're viewing the line, horizontal line, to be straight as possible. Now, Janet, I don't want you using your ruler. You have to learn to do a line without the ruler. And then I want you to do vertical lines also. And try to get them on a 90-degree. Lightly. So do a whole bunch of lines. And then, of course, what has lines? Boxes. So if we want to do a box, don't worry if the corners cross each other. Do different size boxes. See, if I do it slowly, it's more wonky. But if I do it quickly, well, that one didn't work. And do more than one line. The first line may not look right, so you do it over top. And if it's lightly, you'll see what line you want. Yeah, line them boxes. And then also triangles. Now triangles, I want you to do, so a horizontal line and an angled line. Try to get it into a complete triangle, so the same sides are even. And draw a whole bunch of those. You can draw bigger ones. You can do a 90-degree. Just do your shapes. You can do rectangles. And if you really want to be an overachiever, you can do figure out the width of your triangle and make a box that would be half the size. Try and see if you can get angles proper. 45. And then the angles up to 90 degrees. This is really important too, is learning to distinguish the angle of something. So if you can do all of these, so circles, lightly, see how If I held it like that and have my and I tend to do this too. But look at circles, can't draw a circle if I have my wrist on the ground. They're wonky. But if you do, use your whole arm, you look a lot better. You're making angels. A little bit of math. The angles are really important when viewing. Okay, so what we can do, oh, I bet I didn't bring that paper out. Oh, I can draw on. Find a magazine, catalog, and what I want you to do, you can take a transparency. I don't know if I got it. Transparency or some kind of, this is just off of one of those, you put your papers in here and then the little slider. And then you can get a marker. Let's see if I got a big brush marker. Very good. What can I use? Want something that I can, something you can wipe off. An alcohol marker or something like that. Let's see. An alcohol marker. Brown, I think. Dark gray. Yeah, whiteboard marker would work. So what I want you to do is go around, try and find something. Don't go into a face right now. Because it would be a little bit hard to do. It involves complex form. This is mostly purses, so let's see. I do have bought a book. Where is it? Oh, here it is. This is a great book. I forgot I had it. It's quotes and inspirational pictures. But here you go. This here. Now, this will teach you how to see form. I guess I should prop this up so you don't have a glare. Oh, maybe it was better the other way. Maybe I'll turn this light off. There, it's better. All right. I think it's better. Now, what we're seeing, so what we want to do when you're viewing something, we want to find the largest object, the largest shape that's here. Now, it doesn't have to be the total shape of everything. It can be, say here, I would say this here, from here, is a shape. Is that dark enough? I don't think that's dark enough. See if it rubs off. Oh, it doesn't rub off. That won't work. Let's see if this blue highlight marker works. It'll not really dark enough either. Yeah, you can see it a bit. Can you see that enough? I don't think I got anything darker. Yeah, maybe this soup watercolor. Yeah, it'll work. It beats up a little bit, but okay. So we go through a magazine. Here's a rectangle. And it doesn't matter if you go over it a bit, you just want a general shape. So here's another square. Here's an oval or an egg shape. Let's see. Triangle. I would say this would be a triangle. I want you to do this so you can view shapes in anything you do. Okay. Let's see. Here's a good one. So we have a circle, a circle, and then kind of a triangle. Here's half a circle, another circle, half a circle. This is more oval. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay. And there's many ways of doing it. Don't think that you have to do it a certain way. Find your picture or whatever you're drawing. I could have done triangles. So here's a bunch of triangles. Okay, there's circle. Just find the shapes in everything that you do. Find another one. There's some flowers. So this one, let's see. We could say this is a circle. This is a circle. Oval. Here's an oval. So there's no, wrong way of doing this. You want to be able to look at something and see shapes. So if you go through books and stuff or magazines, use a pen and draw what you see. Here's a bunch of rectangles or triangles in here. Then if you want to do ovals for each individual petal, you can do that. Overlap them too. Hey, Devin. Okay. Let's see. This one's cute. Okay, so biggest shape right here. The next biggest shape, I would say probably the neck here. It's an oval. Next one is another oval. Find the biggest one first and then work your way down. These are ovals. This one's oval. So biggest to smallest. And there's your head, his body, and his hat is a square. Okay, so you get what I'm saying? This is a good way of seeing things. So mark down, that's another thing I want you to do for homework, is go through a magazine and find all your ovals, rectangles, squares. This way you're not viewing it. When you're drawing, you're not viewing it as, oh, this is a rock. And this is a candle. And this is a candle. You're saying, oh, this is a triangle. This is a square. This is an oval. And it tricks your brain into using the right side. So you're no longer letting your left side give you a generic shape to use for a rock in a candle. You're actually drawing the shape. These books are great for this. I think there's about, I think I saw there's almost 8 of different ones of these. And they're great because the pictures are so cool for drawing and color, something to draw, if you're finding something you don't know what to draw. These are great. And I got this one for $7.99. And you see them in the secondhand type thing. They're great. I love them. And plus, they give you nice quotes. So if you like quotes, it has nice quotes into it. So it's great for using in your journal. It's a multi-purpose book. Exactly, Janet. It's less daunting when you're looking at it for shapes instead of when you're viewing something. Let's see. Let's do the lady. When you're viewing this, you're not looking at just the shape. You're looking at all that detail. You're looking at the eyes and the fingers, and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to draw that. But you can, because it's a shape. Shapes first, then we connect your shapes, and then you do detail. If you want to stop the video, if you want to do this later and stop the video and do whatever it is, be my guest to do that. Okay, let me check my to-do list here. Okay, so the next thing, when drawing, yes, there's more. When we have, we're looking, when we're, well, let me do something in here first. Something that'll show what I'm doing. Okay, here. When we are drawing something, we have the shapes. So this here, we could draw as an oval. Doesn't have to be exactly the shape. You're just, remember, you're doing this lightly with your pencil. So this is just an indication of what you're drawing. So if it doesn't work out, we can erase it and start over. But if you were to take your pencil and do a real hard line and detailed drawing, are you here? Am I back? Oh, good. I didn't want to have to start all over. It's a teacher's pet. Yeah. I stopped as soon as I saw everyone was had the circle of death. All right. Okay, so what I was saying. So we have the I don't know where I left off before you guys lost me. Okay, so we know we have all these shapes. So another thing we have to look at is an axis line. So let's look at this shape here. So the axis line is down the center. Sometimes when we're drawing ovals or ellipses, you want them to be mirrored on both sides. So an access line gives you the direction of whatever you're viewing. So from top to bottom of that object. So it could be, or if it's even on both sides. So this gives us an idea of how even something is on both sides. So say this here. So we would draw, I guess I should draw it here. So we would draw a line, the axis. See, okay, the axis line is here to here. I'm just using my, well, I guess I could use pencil. And from here is the oval. See, it goes down here, but I'm going to go through this pillow. Till you keep drawing the oval until you see the right shape you want. And then I've got one here, so I'm trying to determine the angle. What angle is it at? Where, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you know where the angle is, then you can draw another oval. So the axis helps you determine which angle you need to draw. All right. Understand? Or have I lost you completely? Oh, Devin, she's having problems. Rats. Well, it's recorded, so hopefully she come back. Then there's another one. Looks like here. It's again straight line, axis, and draw ellipse. Awesome, Janet. Okay, so always the biggest things first, and then work your way down in shapes, sizes. So these are all basically the same size. There's one right here. So we have, it's on an angle. I'm trying to get this. And if you can view and understand your angle, like that. And then ellipse. Okay. So there's my pillows. Now this one down here, if I look at the picture, it's too small. It should have been up here. So I can erase this and change it. So that's why it's important for light drawings. And this one, I can see that it dips down. And so I don't want you to get carried away drawing the whole details and everything. I just want you to find the into the shapes first. Then we'll get into your what do you call it? After these light sketchy positioning lines, then you get to put in your permanent, well, not permanent, but more, what's the word I want? The lines that you're gonna use. So then you can make them darker, your lines. So I guess it's like, okay, I'm happy with this position. Now I can start putting down a direct line of what I'm going to use. Should we make a hashtag for this? Sure, if you want. Drawing for beginners, I guess. Or if you can think of something else, sure. Okay. Eileen and Janet, Kathy is going to have to send you to Draw with Kathy. Sure, that's a good one. All right. So after you have done all your homework for drawing shapes in magazine stuff, I want you to take a picture, or you can go online too, Google something for pillows, or it doesn't have to be pillows, it could be a bunch of apples, it could be a vignette of some sort. Don't make it too complex in the beginning, because then you get frustrated. Then let's see, this, all right. Next, I guess I could use this tool. Next thing we want to do is with an axis, it can also help you with complex curves. So what I'm saying is sometimes you just, like in hair, or there's a lot of complex forms in the human figure. I guess one would be, say, a squash. So a squash would probably be like this. Okay, so this is called a complex form, or it could be oh, I haven't got much room on here. Complex forms, hair. When we're drawing these and viewing them from something, let me find one in here. Oh, I know what I'll do. On one side of the page, draw something like this. Can you? You probably can't see that. Get a pen. Okay, this would be a complex shape. Now, for me to draw this exactly in that shape would be difficult to do by sight. So now this is probably the one the one time, Janet, that you can use your ruler. If you, from one point, I will put it in blue. From one point to the other point is your axis. So as you can see, the axis line is on a tilt. It's not up and down. Yet you would have probably drew that straight vertical. So what you need to do is find your axis line. I guess we don't need this one. And then we have to figure out how this curves. Now, you can try and draw each shape, because this is a shape now, and this is a shape, and measure it. Or you can take your shape and divide it into more angled lines. So find the lines and how they run. Now, some people like to do it this way. Everybody's different. So whatever works for you guys. And this will basically give you your line. Okay, so we either do the same here. Myself, something complex like this, I probably wouldn't use this. I like to try and draw it. Now you can measure it if you want. Depends on, and lightly. You have to do it lightly. So probably here. So lots of lines till you get the shape you want. Axis line. But it does help you with oh, what's the name? I can't say it. Tongue-tied today. I can't think of it. Even on both sides. Yes, that. I can't say that for some reason today. Symmetrical. Thank you. Symmetry, yes. It does help. Okay, have you guys completely bored out of your minds yet? Drawing the basics is important. It may seem boring to do. I remember feeling that when I was introduced to it. Yes, lots and lots of practice. And now, if you do enough of it and you practice on seeing shapes, after a while, when you've done enough practice, you won't need to literally draw out these lines. You'll see them. You'll be able to view them and put it down on paper. That's cute, Julie. This can also be handy when you are doing the a body, or say a swan's neck, that type of thing. Because there's also shapes like a I think, I don't know if I have anything in here or not. Well, there's a good one right there. The sand dune. There. So this shape here would be different. It's kind of like a snake shape. But again, it has an axis right there in the center. So you could draw that there. It'll help in doing bodies, shapes. It's in gesture drawing. This here. So gesture can be used. So if you can get down finding the shapes and do as many in a book that you can find, and then find simple, like something like this, very simple, and draw this in the way I've told you. So largest shape first. So the largest shape would be this here. So this would be, you could say rectangle. Now, you could say this is an ellipse, because we're seeing through this. We're imagining the other side of this. So in doing that, we will get the curve here. Now there's other things that go along with making the proper curve. Now this here, is another ellipse. So we could put an axis here. And then make one. And then change, see, I'm changing my line. Now, this can also run into perspective because our viewing line is above it. So we're seeing more of the top of this opening. And then if you look down on something, this opening isn't going to be the same as the bottom here. So you have to watch on the perspective of things, because it can be, you see it's probably a little more circular here. So I would say it would be like this. And this would be slanting out more because its shape and the perspective would be changed. So then my hard line, the defining line that I want, would be like this. So draw simple things like this, just to get it down. I don't want you to go into the detail. I just want you to draw the simple shapes. All right. Okay, Terry. So find all kinds of stuff. There's lots of stuff in your kitchen, whatever. And remember, be nice to yourself. You're learning, and it won't always come out perfect. So practice, practice. So this is probably all I'm going to show you today. And I think it's enough for you to take in. You go for it, Janet. Have that milkshake. You deserve it. So what I want you to do is draw with a light touch. Practice that. That is very important. There's too many people that put it down too hard a line in the beginning. Draw your circles. Practice, practice, practice doing your circles. And make sure you use your arm. Don't put your hand on the table. Use your arm. Go in circles. Light, light. If you think, if you're not sure on how lightly you should do it, I'm doing it a little harder than I should because you guys have to see it. The best rule to know how light you should be doing it, do it lightly, get up, and look at it about 10 feet away. And if you can't see it, then it's good. But if you can still see it 10 feet away, it's too hot, it's too dark. And then go through a magazine, find objects in wherever, a catalog, flower book, wherever, and find your objects in those photographs. And then draw some of those, just the object, like just the shape of the object. I don't want any detail, just the shapes, so you can get that down. And if you need to go back to the beginning of this video, do it. If you can get this down, it'll help you tremendously, and practice. So what I'm going to do is next week we will be doing drawing. I'm going to get some photographs. I'll put them up online so you can download them. And we'll be drawing, let's see what I can find, maybe a simple rabbit or a bird or something like that. And we'll draw it, and I'll show you about line weight, which is another important thing. So we'll be going through line weight and the questions you should be asking when you're drawing from reference. Let's see, Devin, hey, I don't know, Devin. Mine's not private. I'm not sure how to do that. Hey, Gail. So after you learn this, I think next week when I teach you the basics of drawing something, that should give you enough information and ability to start drawing whatever you want. Now, I'm not saying this is all you have to learn. There's many, many things to learn in drawing. I don't think, it doesn't matter how good you are, there's something you can learn. So after next week, I'll ask you what else you want to learn about drawing. Maybe it'll be different styles. Maybe it'll be more about realism. You can let me know, and then I can set up, if you like doing this, maybe you won't. Then you can let me know what you want to learn. I'll show you some of my, I love drawing. And if you can draw good realism and proportional things are done properly, then you can bring that into any work you're doing artistically. We'll get into shading too, how to do shading, but that's one of the, this is just an ordinary pencil. So found it on, I talk about style. A talk about style would be beneficial for beginners to be great. Yeah, I can probably do one for realism and also I don't know what would you call it. It's illustrative, I guess. Illustrative is like the people, you know, the pretty girls and stuff like that. Realism is based on precise proportions and line weight to, it's basically copying whatever you're looking at and how you do that. Whereas the pretty girls that you see for fantasy stuff and that, they're made up out of the mind, most of them. But there is proportion of the human figure, depending on how detailed you want to get, that also implies, which I could get into the Loomis and the Riley way of drawing, which with the face and stuff. which helps in proportion and knowing where to put shading and stuff like that. Illustrative art usually has less shading. Yes, exactly. It's not as detailed, illustrative. Just you probably know him. What is this? Loki from Vikings. Let's see what else I got here. I've got them all, all kinds of. That's what was his name? Can't think of his name. What they call this guy? From Vikings. Is he? Who? This guy? This was done on Bristol, which depends what you like. Remember this? This was the Dee Dee class that she had. This one too. This is all, I think this was some paint and pencil crayon. That's my nephew. That's Karen's daughter. One of my grandsons. When he lost his tooth, he was showing me his tooth. I don't like that one. It's too stiff looking. I like that one. It's from the Vikings. You can tell I like Vikings, eh? And my Frankenstein. And that was it in that one. Oh, remember we did this at Christmas? Or not Christmas, Halloween. Made the scary silhouette. That was pastel. Which quick pastels. I was just playing with some watercolor. Another witch. I was playing with some charcoal. Playing with some, that's kind of wonky. That one's not bad. This was cool though. Coming through the wall. And her grids. Yeah, you can use grids too. Yeah, there's a few things. You can add them to your books. Here or not. You can do them in your journals. I like to photocopy some of my drawings and then I use them in my journals. Oh, crispy. Right. It's funny. Some of them are, you're all right. I like this one. James Dean. The Rock. Here's the everyone liked that guy. That's how I feel sometimes. He was just playing, having fun in the journals. Class I took. That was a good book. Different ways to use paint and pencils and stuff. Backgrounds like you guys are doing, but I just put the drawings on top instead. Then do whatever. My bunny. I should get back to these. These were fun. Remember that one? That was fun. Using different collage paint. Yeah, I take a photograph of it, of my drawing, and then I print it out, and then I paste it onto my paper. So these are just different collages. This one kind of got, I don't know, splattered on or something. The little grumpy birds. It's a place to experiment and have fun. I haven't finished this. Oh, there's the apple we did. That was fun. That looks black there. Yeah. Well, if you learn how to draw, it's endless what you can do, guys. So really practice. I love this too. I love this type of art. This more of an illustrative ink and wash type of stuff. I love this style. It's quick. It's easy to do. That was like these here. All these ones are just basic. The sketching and wash. This is too a good place to learn, do little studies. If you're wanting to learn how to, say, do hands, do a bunch of hands doing something. Using watercolor. But it'll help you with drawing. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go, and if you have any questions, you can get to me on Twitter, or you can leave me a comment on the bottom here. So hope to see you back next week on Thursday at 1 Eastern, and we'll start actually drawing something. Sounds good? Okay, gotta go. Have a great day.